Hello guys, welcome to this Brawl Stars video. I hope you enjoyed that clutch play in the intro. The sound effects took me a while to edit, so I hope you enjoyed it. The entire clip for that game is gonna be later on in the video, so stick around to see how that whole game turned out. Now, if you haven't already noticed, the sides of my videos are no longer just a black little space. Now I actually put some channel art to the sides, and it actually took me a long time to edit those because the bowl and the coat were behind the black screen. But when I did try making them transparent, it didn't look that good, so I actually went and changed like each individual pixel, so it took me forever. But it looks really nice right now, and I hope you guys like the new channel art. Now, with that being said, let's get into the topic of today's video, which is the best map for Piper and my strategies on how I use Piper on that map. And the best map for Piper is by far Star Gulch. Now, you can also play Shooting Star, but I don't really like it anymore because since they added those two walls in the middle, it's not as good because it's not as wide open as Star Gulch, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Now let's talk about opening moves for Piper on this map. What I like to do is go straight forward and shoot right here, either towards the left or the right grass straight forward. That's because people usually just go straight forward and you can usually get one shot off on them really quick. Now what I like to do after like the opening move is go towards the sides. I don't usually like to stay like around in the middle. I like to stay either to the left or the right bush like this, because usually they stay near their base towards the back over there where that Piper's at and the bow's at. So from here you can easily just run back to your base if you're at low health, or you can go aggressive and start sniping them from the side, and they don't know where you are because you can be anywhere in the bushes. And what I like to do is, if I've been inside the bush for a long time, I just go back to my base and either stay in the middle for just a little bit, or I go to the other side, like to the left or the right side where I haven't been, so they don't expect me to be over there. You also want to move locations when somebody like a Brock or a Shelly uses their super and basically destroys the bush, so you're gonna be exposed. So then I just go to the other side, or I just stay in the middle sniping when that happens. And also, when you're in the bush, you want to try and avoid the predictable spots where people always just blindly shoot at, like the corners where the walls meet at, like where that Brock just try to shoot at the corner, because people always expect you to hide over there and try to regenerate health. So it's not a very good idea to stay in those corners. It's a much better idea to try and stay in the middle and towards the edge of the bush where they won't expect you to be at. Now, I'm going to talk about how you play Piper and how you use her mechanics to effectively give you an advantage over your opponents. Now, first is her super. Her super, you can use it in 3 different ways. First, you can use it as an escape mechanism for when somebody's getting close to you and you want to just escape out of the way. You can put your landing zone as far away as possible. 2 would be for utility purposes, like if you know that the opponents are all mostly short range and then they keep hiding behind a wall, you can just go right next to the wall and blow it up really quick. And the 3rd method would be if you just want to get some damage off on somebody, you can try and go right next to them and just use your super to get away, but you leave your mines right over them so you can do a lot of damage. Now, I usually wouldn't recommend you doing this because you'll usually take a lot of damage if they know what you're up to, so I usually don't recommend that. Now, the second thing about Piper is your range. You need to know how to capitalize on your range and how to use it effectively. Basically, once you start playing Piper a lot, or even other longer range characters, you'll find out that you don't want to aim where your opponent is right now, because there's a delay of how much time it takes for the bullet to reach them. So basically, if they're at the edge of your range, which is usually where you want to hit them for the maximum amount of damage, and if you try and hit them right where they're at right now, they're probably going to easily dodge because they're always going to be moving. So basically, throughout the match, before you shoot, you want to analyze where they're going, not where they are right now. And if you can predict where they're going to go, you can always land lots of your shots very easily by just predicting where they're going next. Now, going off the topic of shooting and range, let's talk about your ammo and how you can use it effectively. When I see other people playing Piper, usually what they'll do is that they'll waste their ammo and use it very inefficiently. I'll see them right when they get one bullet, they'll just shoot it at a full health person. Now, that's not really good to do with Piper because Piper is considered a burst damage character. Burst damage basically means you can do a bunch of damage in a very short amount of time. Now, if you always shoot when you only have one ammo left, the max amount of damage you're going to do is 525. Every single character has a health higher than 525. So essentially you're going to be wasting your bullet because by the time you regen that bullet, they're just going to regen their health back. So my advice is that if your opponents are at full health, to save at least 2 bullets before you start firing on them. Or else you're just going to hit them once and then waste your bullets basically because you're just going to regen their health back and then you're not going to end up killing them. Now this next match right here is the match that you saw at the intro, which had the extreme clutch ending, which I was able to pull off by the next point I'm going to talk about right now, which is strafing. When you're playing Piper, especially on this map, you're probably going to face other Pipers and Brocks and other long-range characters. So of course, you'll always want to make your movements as unpredictable as possible. Because if you move in a straight line or just move horizontal, they'll easily be able to hit you, especially at the higher levels where they usually know how to predict where you're going. So you always just want to move to the left and right and not stay in one spot for too long. And if you look at my joystick, I constantly always try and juke out the enemy because it's always important to keep moving. And with that being said, I'm going to give you guys my method of how I juke people out and how and avoid their shots, especially from other long-range characters. And this can be applied to any other character, not just Piper. So you can use this strategy when you're playing any other character. And that is, when you're playing the game, you always want to look forward. Like you always want to look straight at and avoid their shots, especially from other long-range characters. And this can be applied to any other character, not just Piper. So you can use this strategy when you're playing any other character. And that is, when you're playing the game, you always want to look forward. Like you always want to look straight at. So right when they fire, you can move your joystick really quickly to move away from the bullet. And it works really well on avoiding shots. Now, right here, I'm just going to talk about the gameplay really quick. We're down by 3 points, and I'm desperately trying to hit that ricochet, but he's just strafing really nice. And I see that the Mortis got some hits, and I was able to kill the Mortis, but we're still 1 point behind. And I was able to dodge the Brock ultimate by just using the ultimate to escape. I see that we're behind by 1, so I have to move up, and I try and get that Brock because he was stuck in the corner. Now I have 0 bullets and I'm trying to dodge for my life. Look at my joystick go. I had to wait for 2 bullets to actually shoot him, because if I just shot him with 1 bullet, I wouldn't have gotten the kill. And that was a giant clutch play. I can't believe I was able to pull that off. And if you actually go back and watch it, you can actually see how many shots I dodged, which was insane. Now we're going to discuss different matchups that you might face on this map and how you deal with them. The first obvious matchup that you'll always face is another Piper. What you usually want to do against a Piper is try and strafe as much as possible and get her to waste her bullets. Usually Pipers are going to fire all 3 bullets like all at once trying to hit you. So if you can easily dodge them, they'll have no bullets and you'll have all 3 of yours, so you can easily just kill them very fast. The second most common matchup right now is against a Brock. Now a Brock is much easier to dodge because his rockets are a little bit slower, but his ultimate can be deadly. But with Piper, you can dodge it very easily. What I usually do when I go against the Brock is to save up my super. Because if you use your super to escape his super, like he can't do any damage to you at all with his super. So basically, if you see that he has his little super semicircle around him, you want to be ready to click that super and fly away as fast as possible. Other 2 common matchups you're going to see on this map is against a Colt or against a Ricochet. Now against a Colt and a Rico, usually you just want to try and strafe to the left and to the right, because usually they'll shoot to the left, and when you go to the right, they'll shoot way too far to the right because they'll expect you to keep going to the right, but then you're going to move to the left, and that's usually my strategy going against those 2. Now, my favorite team composition to play with on this map is with a Brock for sure, and either a Ricochet or a Colt. Preferably a Colt because he's more accurate, especially in long range. But my favorite attribute about Piper is for you to easily be able to carry below average or even bad players, so you can play her in solo queue very easily if you're good at her aiming her and know all the basic mechanics that I just explained. Alright guys, thank you for watching. This video took a while to produce and edit, so if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe. I'm going to be uploading Brawl Stars content on a consistent basis. Basically my schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Each one of those days I'm going to have a new video out for you guys. So if you enjoyed the tutorial, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace.